Hi folks, Vipin here. In today's video we're going to talk about how is it that you convert black money into white. Now this video is not aimed so that you guys end up doing this later on or probably even now, but nonetheless to give you information as to how it actually goes on practically every day in this world. Okay, I'm not just restricting this to India, but this is stuff that happens in the entire world. So before I proceed with the topic, reminding you guys again, please do vote for Narendra Modi in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections. Now you have come across the opposition government giving a large amount of info through the Bharat Nirman ad saying that because of us we've been able to see rise in mobile use, airports they've been able to increase in the country, the banking facilities have improved in this country. That's something which I don't find as a big deal. If you are the head of a country, you're supposed to provide these benefits to the people. Providing these benefits and claiming that you're doing something great, now that's just silly. That's like me taking a class and saying that, hey, I did a great thing today, I took a class. That's something which I'm supposed to do, and that's something which I did. Not really something which you should brag about. On the other hand, when you have Narendra Modi, the achievements he has done is certainly something which is worth bragging about. That's one more reason why you should vote for him. Now, let's proceed with the topic. What is black money? It's a desi way to say money laundering. I don't know how is it that we came up with that word in India, calling it as black money. I've seen this word being used so many times in some old Kannada films. Each time they talk about smuggling or each time they talk about a corrupt politician, they always go about mentioning black money in this. Now, black money is just another word for laundered money. Okay. Now, what is meant by money laundering? Money laundering is a procedure wherein you take money from sources which are not defined and make it look like as if this money is in fact very, very legitimate. Now, I'll show you an example on what could happen here. Now, let's say my good friend Yashveer decides to give me a certain amount of cash because let's assume I catered for his wedding. Okay, I catered his wedding and in fact he's paid me for it. He pays me rupees 1 crore as cash for the work that I've done. Now, I've received this large amount of money in terms of cash from Yashveer, and now comes the problem in managing this. If you have a large amount of cash like 1 crore, it makes it very, very difficult to keep it in one particular location. So what I've done very cleverly is I end up making deposits into multiple bank accounts. Okay, I make deposits into multiple bank accounts. So the 1 crore, I end up dividing this into many, many bank accounts. Okay, I've given just 3 here, but when people actually launder money, they deposit that money into like 5, say 10, maybe 15 different accounts. They end up doing this. Now remember that the money where you the accounts where you deposit, the money might be yours, but the account holder may not necessarily be you. That's one of the reasons why in many cases if a person is caught for committing such an offense, they show that the assets in his wife's name is several lakhs or several crores. The assets in his sister's name is in so many amount of crores. His brother's name is in so many amount of crores. That happens because if you have got so much of cash and you want to distribute into multiple locations, the first thing you would do is choose your relatives and use their bank accounts to deposit that cash if you don't have any of your own. Okay, so this is what you do first. Now in the money laundering world, they call this as placement. Okay, where you are placing money into multiple bank accounts. Okay, then what is it that I can do next? Now gradually I'll keep on increasing the deposits little by little. The 1 crore, remember, I can't divide this into 3 different blocks, 33 lakhs, and put it in 3 different accounts. I need to very, very slowly deposit the money over a long period of time. And then finally, I can actually make this money worth useful. Okay, so when you do that, when you take a very, very long time to actually make this possible, you call this as layering. Okay, layering, as in you are putting up multiple layers of bricks. Like this, you are stacking money into a bank account, and that's what they refer to as layering. And once layering has been done, the next thing that you would do would be integration. Integration means you start removing that money and start adding this into places where it can no longer be tracked. Now, the one common thing you would do is you would spend this money. Say you would go buy yourself a television, or if you are Srisant, you would end up buying a BlackBerry Z10. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't stop giggling when I hear a person say that they bought a BlackBerry. So you could end up buying a BlackBerry Z10, or you could buy several lakhs worth of clothes. It's up to you. You could do whatever you want with this. Now remember, when the money has been set in an account, gradually over a period of time, the bank doesn't really ask you this question: how did you accumulate a large amount of money like that? This could take months, this could take years for this to actually happen. Layering is one of those lengthy phases that you come across. Okay? And then when you spend this money, let's say I use this money to buy a large amount of clothes and merchandise from one of the best stores there is, Decathlon. If I buy all that from Decathlon, the Decathlon owner is not going to ask me any questions. He's not going to ask me, where did you get this money from? I'm giving him good business. He would be extremely happy if I actually did this. I could buy gold. I could buy televisions. I could buy another graphic card. So I could do anything I want with this. And that's where the integration happens. The money which was previously illegal and coming from a source which cannot be determined, now it's gone into a place where it cannot be found at all. Now I say that the money I got happened to be illegal because I did not bother to issue a receipt to my friend Yashvir saying that thank you, you paid me and this is a bill to show you that you have actually paid this. If I take it by cash, it's a nice way to say that I've not really recorded this transaction and I could do anything I want with this. And the next thing I do, deposit in multiple bank accounts and then slowly increase the deposits and let it accumulate to a particular amount, and then I would start spending this and I can spend it on whatever I want. And now here is a little bit more trickier part. What if I have laundered crores of rupees worth together? Now imagine if I have a large amount of money, I can't really keep shopping non-stop, right? I mean, how much can I actually fill up in my home? It's very, very risky to do that. I'd be running out of space at home, and that could make a lot of people suspicious. This is why people end up investing this money in the stock market. Now, if you look at it here, I've mentioned that I've made deposits in banks and I've used this money over a course of time to buy securities in the stock market. The stock market is one of the most favorite places for any money launderer to in fact convert his black money into white. Now I say this because the choices of products in the stock market is pretty vast. Now let's say you have 50,000 rupees worth of laundered money. Okay, the source cannot be determined. Now if you want to get rid of this in the stock market instantly, the first thing you can do here is end up buying approximately 20 grams of gold. You could buy this, minimum is 10, you could put in another 10k and you could end up buying about 20 grams of gold. Now this is how quickly the money ends up becoming white. This happens almost instantaneously. And when you do these transactions, even micro transactions like one purchase where you made of 10 grams of gold, the value of 10 grams of gold or the quantity of 10 grams of gold in this case is really small. But if you look at the price that you're paying, 25,000 rupees instantly, this is not really a transaction which any authority would go about checking. They won't really say, okay, how did this guy get 25,000? For them, a volume or a value of transaction like 25,000 is something which they ignore. And this is what people end up doing when it comes to investing in the stock market and converting black money into white. There are countless avenues. You could use this money to buy commodities. Most of the commodity value transactions run into lakhs together. So for someone like me, where I am giving an example saying that I've got 1 crore rupees, if I buy a few contracts which are commodities, the bullion contracts for example, all the money which I've laundered can instantly end up becoming white. This is why people can end up using the stock market as an avenue to convert black money into white. You've heard a lot of politicians go about saying that the markets in India are corrupted. Even though they make a statement, it's not really possible for you to say, okay, this particular transaction is illegal. Because as soon as the order has been placed and the order has been executed and your savings account has been debited for that particular cash, instantly right there the black money has been converted to white. And you just can't go about asking more questions there, okay, where did you get this money, all that. It becomes extremely difficult to track this later on. This is one avenue, a major avenue, not only in India and even in the entire world, wherein people are able to launder black money and convert it into white. So this is how in fact money laundering happens. It's a pretty basic overview of the whole thing. I mean, if you look at the practical point of view, it's actually very difficult to do it these days. I say that because thanks to know your customer, know your client policies by RBI, they made it very difficult to open multiple bank accounts. Now, it's very difficult for a person to in fact open a bank account thanks to KYC. They've done this for the good of this country. It's to avoid people from laundering money. Now this, remember, is purely just theory. It's really very difficult to do things like this and get away with it. Because right now in India, there is a great deal of security put in place. And if you try to do something like this, there's a good possibility you could end up getting caught. Okay. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day and please vote for Narendra Modi. Bye.